What is up, guys and one girl that watched this video? In today's video, I'm actually going to interview a lady, right? A lady that who knew that there were ladies that paid attention to what I'm doing? Well, this particular lady used to actually be my personal sourcing assistant, and she would source every single one of my products until I kept hammering it into her head that she needed to get started on Amazon. Well, guess what? She listened, and now she sells as much as 600 units a day of certain products. So I got her on an interview, and I asked her not only what's going on with her products and her success that she's seen on Amazon, but what the outlook is right now, particularly for brand new sellers that are trying to jump on Amazon right now with the coronavirus happening. So remember, she has a lot of contacts within China because she works as a sourcing agent. So she's been to China almost as much as I have, and we've had quite a few adventures. And so she's going to give you guys the outlook and tell you if right now is the right time or what. So let's go ahead and take a look at that actual interview. Okay, so hey everyone, Hurricane Liz here, and I've got Mandy live, and I actually, this is the second time I had to record it because, as you guys know, I'm not that technical. I'm kind of a bit of a knucklehead when it comes to things of that nature, but just to give everybody a little bit of a brief overview on who Mandy is. Mandy is a sourcing agent that I use, a very good friend of mine. I've known her for years and years. Like, how long, Mandy? Like 5 years?
I think Facebook keeps track of that for us, and I think we're at 6 years now.
6 years. So 6 years that I've known her, and we've been friends. We've hung out in China. We've like sourced together. We shared rooms together, all sorts of stuff like that. And we've been deep in the trenches. Like, I mean, we've been to places that nobody else would want to go. That I can't even. I think back to the time when we were on a road where the water is like right next to the door, and we're bouncing around. Do you remember that? We bounced so much that we could barely even talk to one another.
It was dirty water on one side and trash piled up on the other. I'm surprised we didn't bring back coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean we've been in all sorts of crazy actual adventures. And at the end of the day, Mandy is extremely successful now on Amazon, but it took her quite a few years to get started. It took her, I want to say, a couple years before she finally jumped on the train. So she was just telling me a little bit before I messed up that one of the biggest factors to her not getting in was what, Mandy?
It's fear. I was afraid. It felt like a lot of money, and I didn't have faith in myself. And I don't know how many times you told me, you can do this. Why are you being so stupid? Just do it. But I didn't. It was fear. And I don't have any regrets about my life. But if I could do something over, I would have started earlier. Because there was nothing holding me back but me.
Right, yeah, and she kind of knew. She knew more than even I did. Like, I would have to ask her about products and things like that.
I still do.
Yeah, still even then, she knows more about it than I do. So usually I'll text her. In fact, I've been texting her quite frequently as soon as this coronavirus stuff happened, because as I said before, she has her own sourcing agency that sources straight out of China. So I will make sure you guys have her contact info at the end of this. But Mandy, right now with all the fear going around and people just like up in arms, and there are still some stupid people out there. I think Miami just recently forced us to stay in because there were still idiots out on boats. I guess they thought that coronavirus wasn't couldn't contract it over there on the boat, Mandy. It's like it didn't go near the water. A dolphin can't give it to you.
It is afraid of water, hydrophobic.
Right. So tell me a little bit about what you think the whole situation is going on right now.
Well, from a personal standpoint, I find China very promising. We've seen what they went through. They were the first. After a couple of weeks, some of the less impacted areas started opening up and going back to work. We all, the world watched it, but they're not talking much about it now because China's pretty much back to up and running. We had a lot of inventory caught over there. I had orders that were half made that then never got finished. Well, they're finished now. We had ships stuck in their containers, stuck on ships that couldn't leave the harbor because they couldn't find a captain for the boat who was willing to go to China. But now all of that, even Ningbo and Wenzhou and Wuhan are all reopened now. So I'm not sure that they're at 100%, but they're nearly 100%, and things are operational, and it's very promising.
Right, and I think all sorts of people are trying to get into China. They just like locked it down. So people are trying to actually get into China, and I love that Albie, who is Mandy's dog, which in case you guys didn't see, is one of Mandy's dogs, was a rescue dog. He was a rescue dog. So he's excited to get on the interview as well. So as you heard, China's reopened. So Mandy, for those people that are still kind of like brand new and sitting on the fence, what kind of advice do you tell them in terms of like sourcing? Is now the time to get into Amazon? Is there a better time to wait for? Or what do you think?
I honestly feel like this has created an opportunity because it has kind of swept out some of the weaker links, some of the people who couldn't survive something like this. And I think it's going to be wide open for new people, for people who create really good products and who come in and have a I'm sorry, my phone rang. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
That's all right.
If I was doing it again, looking back at what I know, sure, I understand the fear because I felt the fear, but I wouldn't be afraid to get in right now. In fact, we're going to go in with more products now because I see markets opening up and categories opening up that weren't quite so friendly before.
What advice do you give somebody that just doesn't have enough money? What would you suggest? Like, what's the minimum amount of money somebody would need to get something started right now?
There's, I don't do it, but I know that there are products that you can get for, $1 or under $1 and then turn those around and triple or quadruple your money very quickly. I would say get started with whatever you have because you can take that then and learn from it. Even if you just break even, you are learning because, my first product, I did really, really well and then it died because it got, everybody jumped in. But what I learned from that product was, man, I got big balls now. I can do this. I know what I'm doing. So I would say, to say you can do it with no money, that's hard for me to say. But take what you got and get started. Even if you're sourcing not from China, even if you're sourcing small products from somewhere else, just to learn it, get it started, get it going.
Right, and the good thing is, I know I have a lot of people that listen to this channel that do have big balls. I mean, it's a sausage fest, as I told you earlier. So there's really no excuse, guys, and the one girl or two that watch this channel, which is like they don't hardly exist. But as Mandy said, it's a pretty big opportunity right there, better than ever before. I know that you had a lot of hesitancy jumping into the Amazon space. What kind of work did you do before that kind of like anything that you learned from that work that prepared you for Amazon?
Absolutely. I was a political consultant and I was one of these talking heads you see on TV. I wasn't in front of the camera. I was actually what they called a black operative. So it sounds very sexy. I could do it in my pajama pants most of the time. That's how sexy it was. But it was marketing. Essentially, you take and spin. And that, for me, has been a huge asset in what I do because I know how people think and I know what my market looks like. Where you're really good with computers and numbers, I just chew on my computer. I don't understand it. It's crazy new technology to me. But I understand people and I understand what's going to sell and I know how people think. So that for me was a huge asset. Younger people who are getting into this now, they know so much more about, computers, how they operate. So if I can do this, if I can get on there on a computer I barely know how to turn on, anyone can do this. But so my previous life, obviously, I think I use a lot of that, the marketing and the ability to understand people.
Did you meet anyone famous while you did that, Mandy?
Well, I met a lot of the people you're seeing now on the news. I met a lot of people. Mario Lemieux, I didn't know him. Don't ask him about me because he's going to go, who? A lot of sports stars. Lynn Swan, I don't know if you remember him. But
yes, of course, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. So he ran for governor of Pennsylvania back in my day. So I met a lot of famous people. Yeah, that's
amazing. And so I know you mentioned that I'm good with computers, but that's not the case. I couldn't even record this call right. So
that's true. We already did this interview, and I had way better answers. But
yeah.
It's her fault. They're all gone because she didn't record it.
So knowing that I don't have that much computer skills as you gave me credit for, maybe I have a little bit more than you do, but I certainly don't have that many. What were your biggest struggles early on as an Amazon seller?
Well, obviously money. I think money is always your biggest struggle at first, but it was me. More than anything, my struggles were me because it really was much simpler than I ever thought. And I looked at you and, you were a good friend and slightly better looking than I was. And so I was really looking up to you in a lot of ways. And I thought, oh, Liz can do this, but I can't. But that was my biggest struggle, was just realizing I could. And once I realized I could, now I'll sell anything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the mindset that I had. And looking at the world that we have right now, like I just want to say, I know there's like a Gen Z sausage fest watching this, but guys, this is a fucked up world. Like seriously, on one hand, I feel like so happy for you because you got the whole rest of your life to actually sell and get shit done and do this. But on the other hand, I feel kind of sorry for you because of the situation going on right now, what the future holds. So take the opportunity right now to do it. And in terms of you, Mandy, what's been your biggest accomplishment you feel in the Amazon space in general? Like maybe a big skill that you learned or something like that?
Oh, I've said it over and over, but it's just the confidence. I wasn't a Gen Zer with big balls. I was, middle-aged mom, single mom. And so that obviously having the confidence to do this and to do it over and over. I think personally, because my products, support what I love, and that's obviously these ugly stray dogs, that makes me very, very proud. But I guess that's it. Those are, that I was able to do something I really well and make money at it and to support a cause and different things that I love. So
that's awesome.
I have it all. And I can see dark Las Vegas out my window.
That's amazing. It must look very weird, all empty and stuff.
They keep the lights on, but I'm telling you, it's creepy.
Very creepy. So, I know you mentioned that all your stuff is getting there. Obviously, it's very strategic. Where's my shit, Mandy? People on the channel have been waiting to hear like when my orders due. Not that it can go anywhere, since I was just joking. You obviously know because it can't go anywhere. It's gonna be homeless pretty much.
I was afraid you would ask me that today, so I checked on your shit last night, and your shit will be done in 2 days, and they're packing it now. So
I was hoping that it wouldn't be done till
the shit.
I was hoping it wouldn't be done till April 5th.
And we can hold it off till April 5th
that's
if you
perfect.
Want.
Yeah. I'm not in a rush.
So.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I know that we're both on lockdown. Is Las Vegas officially locked down right now?
Yeah. Well, it's not. They haven't told us stay in place or shelter in place, but we're not. everything's closed.
We are in Miami, shelter in place, which is, like I said, good thing because it prevents asswads from hanging out in boats. Since
So you have more of a population. When we don't have tourists, this is a small town. It's like me and 4 homeless guys. We're like air fighting each other, and I air five them to begin with. So
on this lockdown, what's the last movie you watched?
Oh my God, we've watched so many movies. We watched some stupid, scary movie last night called Ma. That's how desperate it's gotten.
Yeah. I was watching The Nutty Professor earlier.
Yeah, see, that's where we are. I'll be watching Dr. Dolittle later today. I've got a very busy movie schedule. I'll find it here on my remote. This is my movie schedule guide.
Fantastic. So, all right, let's get serious again. What one skill do you think someone needs in order to start the Amazon business?
Well, you're going to need internet, you're going to need power, and you're going to need balls, and that's it.
I agree with you. That's it. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Mandy? It's now that you've gained all these additional skills that people think they need and they wait to acquire, but they aren't really needed.
Honestly, that question, I don't know if I'll still be selling on Amazon. I think probably 5 years from now. But where I am right now, I'm so happy I don't really even care to look that far down the road. What I really want to do is to continue, my humanitarian efforts. No, I want to continue helping, what I've been helping to do. So that's my long-term goal. But where I see myself, I love it here. I love my life. So
yeah,
I want to be alive.
That's a very good aspiration, actually.
Very good goal. I want to be breathing in 5 years.
Yeah, I know for me, it's obviously not being an interview. I have to write the questions on the side. I have trouble with the setup and all that good stuff. I just kind of want to show people that anything is possible. But what memory, just to kind of give people an idea of how long we've known each other, what memory is your favorite that you and I have actually shared together?
Well, I'm trying to, I know I'm allowed to curse, but I'm trying to keep it clean. No, nothing like that.
I can think of one. I'll tell you mine in a second.
I don't know. I think it was, what was the little agent that we traveled with that we went to the filthy bathrooms with?
I can't even remember it. Yeah. Is that too long ago? I'll tell you what I think it was. When I fell off the hoverboard in the hotel.
I forgot about that. Oh my God, those hoverboards are brand new. I was really good on a hoverboard, which was really impressive to those, to the millennials that middle-aged mom was like, I can cruise on that thing. And Liz,
I was terrible on the hoverboard. So not only am I terrible at interviews, but I'm terrible at hoverboards.
You should have seen it, the back and forth wobbling before the big crash. Oh my God, it was hysterical.
Yeah. Okay, let's stop there. Let's talk about what kind of actual services you offer. I know you do like warehousing. You can help people with that, but tell people a little bit more about your sourcing and all that, and how they can reach out to you if they do need any type of help.
Yeah. So like she said, I do sourcing for people. I'm not a big fan of Alibaba, not because they're competition, but because I get better prices than they do. I've worked with my agents for a long time. I find them more trustworthy. There are times I've transferred tens of thousands of dollars to the wrong account, and I get it back because they're people I work with and I trust them. So you don't have that fear of sending your money off to China and will you ever see it again, because it's just some base you don't know on Alibaba. So I do the sourcing. The reason I'm in Vegas is because warehousing in California and inventory tax was crazy. So we're here. I have a warehouse. We do some FBM services. We'll do some FBA. If people want to store with us short term, especially over Christmas, I have space for that. And generally there's a bunch of us now working together out here, and it's kind of a club. We call it the club, the Amazon Sellers Club. And so we come together and help each other get things going. And some of us have partnered on products, some of it, so all of those things. Did that make sense?
Yeah,
I know, I just
absolutely.
Kind of waffled on there.
How do people contact you?
It's Mandy, Mandy at Amazon Sellers Club. Just send me an email. And
So
I
have
respond to everybody. So
amazing.
Especially now. I may be so responsive you're tired of me because no one else to talk to.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you on here, Mandy. It was great to talk to you. And it was also great to see that, guys out there are ladies doing this. So not only are they doing it, but they're doing it to the maximum possibility. So Mandy is crushing it. And hopefully this interview showed you guys, and one girl, like I said, out there, that anything is possible, and you really don't have to have a lot of skills. Just as Mandy told you, the number one thing that you have to overcome is fear itself. So any last words, Mandy?
Yeah, it's not, you overcome fear, but you also have a mindset. I would say that my strongest, because it's certainly not computer skills, it's nothing else, but my strongest, asset is that I don't care what the problem is. I know I can find an answer, because every day there's new problems, little things that come up on Amazon, and people go, I don't know what to do. There's an answer. And saying I don't know what to do is not the answer. Figuring out the answer, and it may be trying 8 or 10 things, but you find it and you move on, you hammer through. And I would say, if you have that mindset that no matter what, I'm going to figure this out. No matter what happens, we're going to make it happen. I think that's the biggest skill anyone can have.
Absolutely. So once again, Mandy, thanks so much for kind of showing people just how it is. And thank you for, as usual, entertaining us, as well as thank
Albie.
It's nice
to see you. It's nice to see another human face.
So
I cough here. I don't think I can give you anything over Skype. So
yeah. That's fantastic. So awesome. Thanks so much, Mandy.
Okay.
See you later.
All right. Love you. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.